Hey YouTube land, Tycondrius here doing another action figure review. Now today I'm having a look at 3 figures from the same line. And that line is the retro Mcfarlane DC Batman Classics TV series, or the Batman 66 TV series. So I picked up 3 figures. I grabbed them all on Amazon.uk. I haven't seen too many over here for sale in stores. I did pick up one set of figures from a local vendor that was doing a kind of deal set where you got Batman, Robin, the Batmobile, and the Batcave playset, which I will review eventually. I am waiting on some other stuff to arrive to kind of coincide with that review, but I will review those together. But for the most part, I'm going to be looking at these villains from the Batman series. So this is Penguin's box. Now, all the boxes, I have them up here behind the figures. They all pretty much come in the same standard packaging. There's no bio or readout for them. And then it just shows like an image of Batman and the Batcave playset on one side. The character on one side. Same thing with Riddler. You got Riddler on one side. This is the Frank Gorshin version of Riddler, not the Sean Astin, or is it Sean Astin? John Astin version of Riddler. John Astin, if you know your history, is Sean Astin's father, the guy from the Goonies, and Samwise from Lord of the Rings. He played Riddler back in the 66, I think near the end of the series, back closer to when it was the 70s. And then this is the season 3 version of Catwoman, as portrayed by, I'm hoping I pronounce her name properly, Eartha Kitt. The original Catwoman was Julie Newmar, but she couldn't reprise the role, I think, for the 3rd season. I think maybe the end of the 2nd season, 3rd season of the original TV series. So they ended up getting a stand-in, basically, or another actress to portray Catwoman, and this is that was Eartha Kitt. So she, I believe, was the last version of the last actress to portray Catwoman, because I think she also did portray her for the 66 Batman movie, which is like kind of a made-for-TV movie thing, but we'll get into that in a minute. Or we probably won't really get into that because I don't have any of the kind of stuff for it, but one of the things I'm hoping to pick up is the Villain's Lair, which is kind of more based on that movie, because it was a scene where they all had their own little, like, throughout the series, the main villains wouldn't really, like, Penguin, Riddler, Joker, all them wouldn't really kind of cross over. They'd all be like a individual character villain for that particular episode, or 2-part episode. Most of the time they wouldn't kind of gang together to form a Legion of Doom style kind of basically get up. So in the 66 movie, they kind of went with the idea of what if all the villains kind of teamed up and they had a kind of villain team up kind of thing. So these guys, now the Riddler has a little bit of issue with one of his feet. They're not very flat, so one of them is kind of arched and it tends to make him fall forward a bit. These should be in the 6-inch scale. They're not the same as the DC Multiverse from Mcfarlane. You see they're actually small bit. Oh, there goes Catwoman. They're just around the 6 inches. Catwoman does have very tiny heels on the back of her feet, so she's a little bit front heavy. If I just show her to the camera there, you can see she actually has, like, she has high heels on, but they're very tiny, very sharp and pointy, but very tiny. So she does have a little bit of issue standing every now and again. You can get her to stand, it's just you have to get it into that right spot. All the figures come with these there is a word for it. It's the one where they pronounce it, it sounds like the word that they're pronouncing, and they're basically, throughout this TV series, it was a staple for the TV series. Whenever they got into a fight and people were getting punched in the face and stuff like that, they'd, instead of showing it directly, it would be like the symbol would pop up in front, so it was like you get a clash across the head and it'd be clash or crash or any of those things. And these come with all the figures. I'm not sure which ones go with which. I believe the eye goes with Catwoman, and I believe the Yowie also goes with Catwoman. I think Ouch and Kapow goes with Riddler, and then Wham and Pow goes with Penguin. I could be wrong. I kind of like grabbed them all out of the boxes at the same time, so I kind of mixed them all up. But you do get 2 of each with each figure. And the way they work is you just clip them on over the wrist, and if you're, for example, we'll get Batman in there in a second. So if you're using Riddler, it's probably better to do it this way. And he's throwing a punch at Batman. You have like a ow kind of thing, which is interesting, or which is fun. Now, I will get into the articulation on these, but before I do, I just want to show a couple of interesting things that I found about this line. So, with Eartha Kitt Catwoman, there is, as I said, a Julie Newmar Catwoman. So the whole figure is literally reused for the Julie Newmar figure, except for the head, because the costume was pretty much the same. I don't think they even changed the hands on the figure. They actually have the same, it's the same figure pretty much, with the exception of the head. The head is actually really nicely sculpted on this. Out of all 3 of these, she's probably one of the best sculpts out of them. And in fact, actually, let me see if I can get some additional light. Bear with me a second. There. I might make it a little bit better. So out of all of them, she is probably one of the best face sculpts. Penguin is quite good as well. If I remember correctly, he did have a lot of prosthetic kind of stuff on his face. So Burgess Meredith, who actually portrayed Penguin in the series, didn't exactly look like this in real life, but like I think the nose was a prosthetic, and obviously the eyepiece. I do like the eyepiece on this one. It's better than the Mattel version. The Mattel version was actually a sculpted onto the face and just paint up, whereas this is actually a plastic kind of piece and actually on the like attached to the figure's face, which is quite nice. The Riddler is not the best out of the 3. I think his features just look a little too soft. He doesn't kind of quite come across as being realistic as compared to the other 2, or as realistic compared to the other 2. Even the hair looks kind of, it looks just, there's something about it just doesn't sit right. But here's the interesting thing I found about this line. Now, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this, but if I bring Batman in, you will be able to notice that both Batman and Riddler stand pretty much exactly the same height. Reason for that is they actually use the same legs for Batman. Waist, legs that Riddler has is the same torso, same upper arms. The only difference is the lower arms are different. They have the cowls, the spiky bits. I would imagine that the neck on Batman, now I'm not sure if the head is attached here at the base, like it does have a ball joint, but Batman actually has the cowl. There's a sculpted cowl piece, that looks like a separate piece, so it looks like it could have been attached over one of this style neck. But if you look at the bodies, they are exactly the same. Even the trunks at the back, of course, he has different belt, and then you can see the lower legs. Pretty much from the lower legs are different. Now, Riddler does have some slight difference in the legs, but he does have very similar. It's a retooled version of Batman's. You can see they even have the same seam line on the inner working of the pants on them. So it is the same leg, but it is slightly retooled. So you can now see there's actually slight extra creases on the front. But for the most part, it is identical to Batman, even as I said, the upper torso. And it doesn't quite stop there, which is interesting. I'll do a rundown on the articulation in a minute. So it was something that I noticed with Joker as well. Come on, just stand. I said, there we go. So But bringing Joker, this is the Mcfarlane Joker. So he has very similar look to him compared to Penguin. And the reason for that is because he shares a lot of parts with Penguin. So his arms are the same as Penguin's, in the sense that the lower arm is identical down to the fist. Even the cuff, you see Penguin has the white inner shirt cuff. It's actually still sculpted on his. They actually changed the articulation point, which is interesting. You see, you don't have this big joint that's on Joker that you have on the other figures. I think this was a running change going forward. It's more the standard ball joint. You can't see the waist on Penguin, but I would hazard a guess it's almost identical again, because he seems to share the exact same trousers, and even down as far as the the pants. What's interesting is the shoes. I'm not 100% sure, but I think they're a separate part that are glued in place, which is why Penguin's has this kind of front piece on it, kind of loafer kind of thing on it. They are different shoes, but the pants, just show it to the side there, leg and pants are identical. So I'd imagine that like Penguin's waist actually stops up around here. He does have the waist swivel that Joker has, but because it's more hidden behind his waistcoat, you can't see it as much. Another cool fun thing is if you have the Mattel version Penguin, again, you know, to get him into that spot for him to stand. If you have the Mattel version Penguin, he came with an actual umbrella accessory, which is what this guy is lacking. You can just use it and just pop it onto him. It looks pretty good. He can't obviously hold it because he has the same hands as Joker's, which means he has one punchy hand and one graspy hand, but the graspy hand is really open wide, so it's not like a pistol grip or anything like that. But that's beside the point. So, on to the articulation of these guys. So, as I said, Penguin can kick forward. He has a single jointed knee with a ratchet on it. It's quite a tight ratchet. It has a swivel. He has a waist swivel. He has the arms that can go out that much. They can do a 360. He has single jointed elbows with a swivel as well. He has rotation in the wrist, no in and out joints, just rotation. He has a ball jointed head, so you get some good range of movement on that. Let's see if he'll stand for me now. And then for the Earther kit, Catwoman, again, pretty much same deal. Arms can rotate around. Now, because of the way her shoulders are designed, they do kind of slant out to the side because it kind of goes up at an angle instead of straight. So it's not a flat 90-degree turn. You have to kind of slightly twist the arm out off the side. She does have the same ball joint on her head. Only thing is that her neck, or not neck, but the hair does get in the way of that ball joint a bit, which is a shame, but it does look really good. Arms, again, single jointed arms with a swivel, a rotation in the hands. I do love the hands on Catwoman. She has the kind of more attacking, clawed out look to her. They didn't kind of just opt for a. They didn't just opt for a kind of a flat fist on one side and a grasping hand or anything like that. She has kind of more clawed hands. She can kick forward with her leg. She has single jointed knee. Then she does have a slight rotation in that, but it's very tight. Nothing in the ankles. Everyone doesn't really have anything in the ankles. And she does have the waist swivel as well. So she has a good deal of articulation. And then getting onto Riddler, I'm just going to pop Joker up here in the background, get him to stand. So, as I said, he has all the same articulation as everyone else. The only thing is that he has that same kind of shoulder thing that Batman does, so he can't really get it 360 without it kind of bumping into this. But you can get the arms up. Single jointed elbow, rotation at the elbow, rotation at the fist. In fact, as I said, even the hands on this guy are pretty much the same as Batman's. You can see he has exact same fist on one side and a trigger finger style grip on the other side. His hand is on, or sorry, his head is on a ball joint. He does get some good range of movement. He doesn't really get any up and down. It's more of a swivel than kind of ball joint compared to Penguin. He does have a waist swivel. Again, very tight on mine. Can kick forward, ratcheted knee joint as you can hear, and a swivel in that knee. As I said, if you look at his feet, one of them's flat to the ground, one of them is actually slightly angled, which makes him kind of lean forward a bit. So you kind of have to get him into that just right pose for him to stand properly. They do have peg hold. Well, Penguin and Riddler have peg holds on the bottom. Maybe not. Riddler is the only one that has peg holds on the bottom of his feet, I think. Does Batman have them? Batman has them. Batman. Oh, there he goes, Riddler. Yeah, Batman, Riddler, and Joker have peg holds on the bottom of their feet, whereas Catwoman and Penguin do not, which is interesting. All in all, they're nice figures. They do have some flaws, as I said. Now that the feet thing on Riddler could be just my version of him. I'm not sure if it's something going forward, but it is noteworthy to say that, to the least. If we can just get everyone in shot, would be nice. They're going blurry on the background. Sorry about that. Hopefully it hasn't been too blurry while I've been recording. So just get some size comparisons. These are designed as a 6-inch line. So I'm going to bring in some 6-inch figures. Now this is the dog from the Alien. There it goes, everyone. From Leonard's Alien collection. It's from Alien 3. It's from the Runner set. Pop you over here. Pop you in here. We have Wolfman. Bring him in behind from the Jada Toys line. Get his feet in a little bit of a better position. So the Wolfman. Oh, let it stand. There we go. We got Wolfman. And I know everyone will probably go crashing into the ground again. We'll bring in a Stormtrooper from the Star Wars line. This is the first iteration of the Stormtrooper. So he's the older version. If I just get him to stand a bit better. A moment. There we go. So getting to stand. Oh, these guys never hit anything, so we'll just get him to stand in the back of him there. There we go. And for something I haven't reviewed yet, but we'll get to, it's another Leonard figure, and it is designed to be in the 6-inch line, but it's a bit taller. This is the Leonard 6-inch or 1/12 scale, technically, Predator. It's actually 7 inches because they are tall creatures. And one other figure from the Fortnite series. Because I don't have anyone else handy. It is one of the Fortnite figures from Hasbro. So you can see everyone in line, and you can just see the different scales across the board. So overall, they're not bad figures. I'm a little disappointed with Riddler. He's not the best out of the bunch. I do like the Penguin. He's really cool. My only gripe is, again, no umbrella. You know, his signature trademark kind of thing. And the punching hand and grip hand are okay. It would have been preferred if he had two kind of... I think this line would be much better if it had swappable hands. So if you were able to like give him like, say, a grasping hand like that, or a punching hand, whichever one you wanted for whatever kind of display, it would kind of make it a bit more entertaining. Out of all three, the Catwoman is probably the best, and out of all the ones I've seen reviewed so far, my top ones is Batman himself, Joker, and Catwoman, because everything else is kind of hit or miss. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that quick video review, and as always, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Cheers, guys.